Let's see if I remember how to do this. This is the Austrian Grand Prix Round 9 in GP4 OC season here at the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg, also located in the Styrian Mountains. The quickest track on the calendar in terms of lap time. The 5th time we've been here since the Austrian Grand Prix came on the OC calendar back in 2014. The circuit, first track to be designed by Hermann Teich, or Tilke, so I should say, it's a restoration project for the old circuit. 2 teams winning here over the past 4 years, that being 2 for Mercedes and 2 for Ferrari. The previous winners here, including Florian Volker in 2015, Will Nella in 2016, and Joseph Willers in 2017. So the big question is, will we have a different winner here this year in 2018? Now, the circuit, of course, being the shortest in the calendar in terms of lap time, the circuit length of 4.326 kilometers, only 8 corners, track a very basic layout. The lap record set by Jay McKenzie, that being a 1:05.120. That was set last year as well. So I imagine probably this year that record might be taken down even more, I would think. But the tyres used for this race will be the medium tyres. And the driver of the day from last time out, the French Grand Prix at Paul Ricard, was Franco Gamba for a very impressive performance. And so far this season, we'll see where he goes for next season, but he's doing incredibly well so far. But here is the starting grid for the Austrian Grand Prix. Joseph Willers on pole, Franco Lopez alongside him, first and second for Ferrari, and Mercedes with a lap record of 1:04.017. Row 2, Miguel Escal and Joel Hutter for Red Bull Racing. Row 3, Amar Carr and Florian Volker for Ferrari and Mercedes. Row 4 of the grid coming up in 7th and 8th is Franco Gamba for Haas, Jay McKenzie for Renault. That is row 4 of the grid. Row 5, 9th and 10th is Evan Byrne for Renault and Paolino Tomaselli for Sauber in 10th position. 11th and 12th on the grid. Row 6 is Enis Barachki for Toro Rosso and Tiravinau Tiranen for Force India. On row 7 of the grid we have Kirosova de Rossa for McLaren and Roland Moitin for Force India. Row 8 of the grid we have Gabriel Gomez for Sauber, Maxim Titkov doing very well in what was a wet qualifying in 16th. On row 9 of the grid, Etienne Jones for Manor and George Rowe for Haas, and what was an even wetter qualifying in Q1. And then the 10th row is Laura Chung and Lean Campana for Toro Rosso and Williams. And on the last row of the grid we have Felix Sontag for Williams and Roberto Gamba, who actually had qualified 12th but had a 10 place grid penalty from the last race for a terrible rejoin into Enis Barachki, and so that's why he was deducted 10 places, because it was a ridiculous rejoin that took him and Barachki both out. Otherwise for this race it will be dry, so let's get this show on the road. So here we go, 71 laps around the Red Bull Ring. What is going to happen? The 5 lights are about to come on here at the Red Bull Ring and are underway. A pretty quick start actually for once. Willers gets a pretty decent launch, but so does Lopez as they come towards the first corner. And is Willers going to get the lead with the first corner? It looks like it. Although Lopez is going to go round the outside and it's going to take the lead. And Lopez takes the lead. What a start. Willers down to second. Could get overtaken by Gallup. He's not careful as well. They head towards turn 2. Up one of the many straights on this circuit. A wise man once said the track has corners and straights. Now there's Volker behind in 5th. There's McKenzie in 6th. Gamba making a move on the inside of Tomaselli for 8th. There's Carr, Byrne, Parachki, and there's 3 wide coming into turn 2 there. Gomez just about making through. De Rossa taking a very unusual exit line there. Now Turner went wide. Rote's missing his rear wing, and Gamba is missing his front wing. So I think damage has been done, and we're about to find out how that happened. So Roberto Gamba, as you can see coming through towards turn 1, had made a good start. She moved up 1 place, but then as they're coming into the first corner, in the traffic jam, and just uses Roke as a brake, and there the damage is done, unfortunately. And so we look at Gabriel Gomez coming towards the first corner as well, and did something happen with him as well? And yes, he goes into the back of the Force India in front of him there. So both he and I think that was now Tiranen as well. Here we are looking at Florian Volker in P5 on the back of Joel Hutter for the Red Bull, and it looks like he's going to make a move on the inside, coming into turn 7, the penultimate corner with the very dodgy pit entry. But he made it through. Now here is Willows on the back of Lopez, trying to take the lead immediately back after getting overtaken at the first corner, and he can't do it there. But he'll just wait until the front straight, which is now. He'll get the slipstream, he'll move out to the right, and this should be an easy move. As Willows is now on the inside. He sets the fastest lap of the race as well. He's on the inside. This should be a very, very easy overtake, and he's done it. He's through, up into the lead, And now actually Lopez might get overtaken by Gal in third if he's not careful. He's close enough. But will he have the slipstream? Well, he is. He's going to make a move on the inside. Lopez defends, and he keeps the position just about. That'll give Volker a chance to close up behind as well. So far, Volker making a good start. Moving up 2 places. Mackenzie's up a couple. Carr's made a pretty bad start, actually. Thomas Hayes moved up 1 past Burns, so an interesting start, really, so far. Looking through the order, there's Carr on his own at the moment. So he has actually got past Tomaselli, so he had moved... he had dropped down a number of places, or does he? We're looking at him going on the inside, heading towards turn 1, and does he make a stick? Yes, so he recovers one of the positions that he's lost, but he's got a lot of time to do before he recovers more, as we're now looking at the Red Bull of Gal all over the back of Lopez for P2. That's allowing Willers to get away. It's about nearly 2 seconds, and it will be about now, as Sontag is in the pits, and that is obviously not a scheduled stop, so he must have an issue, and he does. Don't know what the problem is, but he has got a problem. So he comes out of his pit box and he's running, I think, just outside of the top 10 actually, running in 13th position, running behind the Toro Rosso of Enis Baradzki, and you can see him coming towards the double left-hander, and everything's fine. He was right behind him, he was actually pressuring Baradzki, and then that's when the problem occurred. I think it was an electrical problem I saw on his dash, so unfortunately he's going to have to go into the pits. And there goes the Manor ticked off, there goes Jones. I wonder if he affected anyone as he went towards the pit entry, as it's, you know, if you're in a battle and you're on the wrong side of the pit entry, then, well, you're screwed, basically. But Sontag now comes into the pits, as we look at Carr, who's on the back of the Toro Rosso of Franco Gamma, heading towards turn 2. He can't make the move stick there. Carr on the inside, can he make it stick? Nope. Can't. Laura Chung's in the pits as well. That can't be a scheduled stop either. So she must have a problem too, and she does. That's another issue. So it's another electrical problem. So Laura Chung having to pit and get that problem fixed. Goes back out, and she was running, actually pretty far down the order. She was running down in 17th. So I don't think she was had a particularly good start. Fuel-wise, I think she's got well. Fuel-wise, it probably explains why she hasn't had a great start. I mean, look at the amount of fuel she has. And so she'll still be stuck with that when she comes out of the pits, but unfortunately for Laura Chung, not the start that she would have wanted at all. And you can see as she comes into the pits with her issue. So that's the second problem on lap 5. And so still no retirements yet, but they'll come, they'll happen. As we see her coming into the pits, and now we're looking at Joseph Willows, who is in the lead at this moment in time, as he heads towards the final 2 corners. And he's gone wide, and Willis is off, and he's around. He had the lead, but he's thrown it away, and that has just gifted the lead to Franco Lopez behind. He was so far in front as well, and Willis has just thrown away a very healthy lead, and he will be fuming at himself for doing that. And you can see here, just goes wide and loses control. And fortunately, there's no cars coming through. Well, they will, much to his displeasure. You can see Lopez just coming around the corner now, but fortunately Willis has spun off the circuit. And now here we are looking at Jay Mackenzie, who right now is running in 6th place for Renault, and he's got a problem as well. And oh my word, is that another electrical problem? It is. Quite incredible. So we've had 3 electrical problems in the first 5 laps. What on earth is going on here? So cars clearly, someone is messing with the electronics here, and the other flag of course is for Willis in front. So Mackenzie will come into pits, and it's a shame for Mackenzie as well. He was running in a very good position. He was running in 6th, and he would have had 5th had he not had the problem, but now he's gone into the pits, and he will be extremely upset that this has been taken away from him. Now here is Volker, who is on the back of the Hungarian Miklos Gal, heading towards the first corner, and I think Volker's going to make the move, although Gal is moving over on him. Volker's on the inside. He's through. He's on the inside, and this should be a move. Nearly contact, but they get away with it, unfortunately. Now the 2 Red Bulls are behind each other. Gal in 3rd, Hutter in 4th, but Hutter, of course, who has outperformed his more experienced teammate so far this season. And with sign-ups coming up very soon, it's going to be interesting. And oh no, Lopez is off! And Lopez is off! Oh, quite incredible. Franco Lopez is out of this race. He was leading, and his car has let him down. So that's what, like 4, I don't know, that's like the 4th or 5th mechanical problem we've had, but Lopez is out, and actually it was a puncture that caused his retirement. I can't believe what I saw. And actually Lopez... Oh, so Lopez had made a mistake. I didn't even realise. So Lopez actually had made a mistake had lost the lead to his teammate Volker, but he'd actually kept second. But, well, just about. But he held up severely the two Red Bulls behind. You can see he rejoining, and he's lucky that Gal braked, otherwise he could have gone into him, and then he would have been out a few corners earlier than he was in the end. But I guess that puncture probably caused an issue, but quite incredible so far in this race. The amount of problems we've had, I mean, this wasn't an electrical failure, but still, it was enough to cause Lopez to retire from this race. But you see him on board heading up towards turn 2, and look at him jumping, and there it goes, and so he has to pull off, and that was his race over. So quite a dramatic start we've had for this Grand Prix, and actually Joseph Willows has set the fastest lap of this race. So just imagine if he hadn't made that mistake, he'd be well clear up front now with all the problems happening behind him. So now here we are looking at Carr trying to get past the Italian Franco Gamba into the penultimate corner. He still can't get through, and Gamba is holding his own against the superior Ferrari. And as I say superior Ferrari, I mean Haas of course do have Ferrari engines, but as now Carr is looking on the inside of Gamba towards turn 1. Is this the move right here? And no, it still isn't. So Carr can still not get through. There's a huge gap behind, and there's Evan Byrne actually running quite high in the points as well. They'll be getting a nosebleed at this point in time. Lean Capano's in the points as well in 10th. Etienne Jones even higher, as Willows now goes up into 12th place. He passes the Toro Rosso of Enes Baradski. So Willows is very quick, but as I said, just imagine if he didn't if he didn't spin off, then it would have been so much different for him as well. So he'll be, I mean, if he doesn't win this race, which I don't think he will, he'll be very annoyed that that happened. Now here is now turning on the inside of the Williams into the first corner. I don't think he's quite got the run on Sontag off it, so I think Sontag might keep the position. It's side by side between the two, Force India versus Williams, both with the same engine. Now turning on the inside, and this should be the move for the Racing Point, and it isn't. Surprisingly, Sontag has got the run off the corner, he keeps the position. Now Turner's going to have to try again. So at the moment, Volker is, I believe, leading out of all this. Now here is Willows getting past Titkoff. Look how quick he is. And has he got it done? Not quite. And no, he's got to hold behind. He's lost a bit of momentum there, so he didn't need to do that. So he'll have to wait another couple of corners to catch up. But I think I just saw briefly, I think Carr may have got past Franco Gamba as well. As we look through the rest of the order. And yep, Carr finally passed the Italian. And this was into turn 1, was it? And yes, it was, because Gamba went wide. It got a little bit too humpy over the curbs. And yes, unfortunately, humped them too much, and that meant he lost the position. And here we are looking at Willows, who is now caught up once again to back of Titkoff. Oh, and now Tiridan has been run into by Laura Chung. And fortunately, no damage has been done between the two. So they do continue on. But is Chung going to try and move again on now Tiridan into the corner as they move over? But ooh, that was risky, but no damage done, fortunately. So they continue on. So far we've had quite a dramatic start to this race. We've only been going 10 laps. We've had a number of spins, we've had several mechanical failures. We've probably had more mechanical failures in the first 10 laps than we have in an average race. But as I said, so far Franco Lopez is the only driver to retire. Etienne Jones, I don't know how he's got up into 10th, but De Rossa is now closing up to the back of Tomasini. Now here's Evan Byrne, who's on the back of Franco Gamba, who I think must be on a heavy fuel load, because even Evan Byrne is all over him. Can't make the move stick here. So I'll have to wait until well, probably the penultimate corner or the front straight. Now here is Byrne, who's was pushing Franco Gamba around the circuit. He's not going to make the move stick coming through the two left-handers here, so he'll have to wait. He gets the run off the corner enough, and he times it right, he'll make the move. As we look through, and here we go, he's going to go for it. Is Gamba going to move over, which he doesn't? Is this going to be the move? And yes, it is. Byrne does make it through, and he is up into P5. So far, a great start to this race by the Irishman. As we look at him coming through the replay, look at him making the move. Pretty simple, really. Gamba just let it happen, really. Notice he's not the quicker car, just lets him through, doesn't bother battling with him. Now here is now Tiridan, who's on the back of Felix Sontag. This is for 17th place. You wouldn't expect the Force India to be battling with the Williams, but now Tiridan still can't get through, and actually he's pitting this lap, and of course, finally, he does get through, but of course he has to pit this lap, so it's all for nothing, really. But so far now Tiridan's going to have a tough race, because I mean Volker's not that far away from him already, so he's going to be lapped when he goes in. But at the moment there's De Rossa who's closing up to the back of Tomaselli. Now here's Campana, who's on the back of Jones for 9th, going into the penultimate corner. No, he can't do it. Into turn 7, now into turn 8. Campana, he's going to surely make a move into the first corner. And as we look through, is he going to make it stick? He's going to try and go on the inside. Has he got enough power? He's just about getting alongside the Manor. Is Campana going to go for it? The answer is no, he doesn't. So he's going to lose time and momentum there. So Willows, who still hasn't got past Titkoff behind as well. At the moment, the gap Volker to Gal is about 4 seconds. Hutter's fallen away from Gal as well in second. Carr is way off in fourth. Almost a pit stop behind already. But it's looking pretty good for Volker up front. Now here is Jay McKenzie trying to get past the Force India here of Roland Boychian, and he still can't get through. And so he's going to have to wait again. He's not going to be close enough as Nautron is in the pits. He's now going to be down to last. So here is Thomas Selly, who is going a little bit wide, I think, but De Rossa is closing up behind him. And I wonder if De Rossa is going to be close enough to make a move into turn 7. That is the big question. Is he going to make the move stick? I think De Rossa's going for on the inside. He is. He's on the inside, De Rossa, and he's not quite through. And so he's got to wait until the front straight, but surely this is where he's going to get it done. He's in the slipstream. Just needs to make it to the inside and brake later. And so he's just about alongside Tomaselli, side by side. Surely this is the move done. De Rossa is through up into 7th. And behind Campana, I think, was trying to get past Jones. I don't think he did, and he failed, but he's right behind him off the corner. So he's trying to go on the this side, the left side of him, but he's not going to make it stick there. He's going to now swap to the right. This could be the move for Campana. No, still can't do it. So unfortunately, going to have to wait yet again. So as we look, as Mackenzie obviously has got past Moyton, there's Gal running on his own in second place. Hutter's fallen way behind. Here's Campana once again going to try it on Jones into turn 7, and he's just about. Oh, and there's contact. There's contact between the two, and Jones is actually pitting this lap. So that was incredibly lucky. Jones was on, as I mentioned before, the wrong side going into that corner in a battle, but fortunately somehow they actually got away with it. Willers is into the pits as well for Ferrari, so he would have been doing, well, he is going to be doing the 3-stop, but unfortunately it's going to affect him because he is down the field where he is. But Jones now comes in for his first stop of the race, and so does Willows, but so Willows just will be cursing his luck, really. I don't know if you can say he'd have the win in the bag. It's a bit of an early assumption to make, but he was controlling the field, I guess, is the next best thing to say. He'll come out, I think, ahead of that battle between, I think, Sontag, that was, and Gabriel Gomez. So, and as we're looking at Gomez, who's trying to make a move on the inside of Sontag into the first corner, and they've already got the blue flags for Volker behind. Gomez is through, moves up past Sontag, and Sontag, I imagine, is going to be lapped with Volker, and yep, speak of the devil, here he is. And Volker actually is also going to be pitting this lap too. So here we go. This is going to be very interesting indeed, as Volker getting stuck behind the Alpha, or the Sauber. I don't think they're quite called Alpha yet. But as we look at Volker coming towards turn 3, and I mean, I think just what I like about the Red Bull Ring is it's just such a basic layout, really. You know, you don't need to go all hard and incredibly tight and twisty, like a certain track that may just about be announced in real F1. But anyway, as we look at Volker coming through the double left-hander, heading towards turn 7 and 8, heading towards the pits, the gap to Gal is again over 4 seconds, but Volker will now come into the pits for his first stop of the race. So fuel-wise, it's going to be interesting to see actually if he does do the 3-stop or not. I would imagine he would, because I mean traffic is going to be an issue now, because many more drivers are going to be pitting ahead of him. So here we go. Into the pits he comes, and what amount of fuel will they put into Flo's into his car?
No pressure.
And
just prepare yourself for the first gear.
I don't imagine he'd go to the end after second stop. I don't think. 1020. Well, I mean, I guess it's possible, but he'd have to put in a lot more fuel than he is now. So we'll see. I think it's still going to be a 3-stop, but he's going to come out down in P5. So he's behind the 2 Red Bulls. He's behind Evan Byrne. Joel Hutter at the moment in second place, but crucially, Miguel Scow, he'll be very happy. He's leading a race. He's actually leading the race, but unfortunately for him, he's got this battle he's got to contend with of Chong, trying to overtake the Sauber, and finally he gets through. Now he's got the Sauber to deal with of Gabriel Gomez. As we look at Willows coming towards the final couple of corners, obviously he'll be closing up to Jones, I would imagine, because I think the Ferrari is much quicker than the Manor, you would think. So now coming into the bits as we just saw was Maxime Titkoff, who's just come out of his pit box, just in the corner of the eye. and so he'll come up behind Willows. So George Roke will be coming into the pits as well. So it looks like Roke, who got hit on the first lap by Roberto Gamba, he probably would have been, he would have been going on the 3-stop as well. Well, he will be, I think, but it could have been so much better for some of these guys. But Gal is coming into the pits for his first stop of the race. So we are going to find out if he's going to do the 3-stop as well. I suppose it's a bit early to say. De Rossa, I think I just saw on the timing board, was in, and there was another car that was coming into the pits as well. Gap to Hutter is 3 seconds. It's now it was actually, I think, a lot more than that, but unfortunately due to the traffic he got affected quite badly. And so as we look at Gal coming towards the double left-hander, and we're about to see him lapping the Williams. He's going to go on the inside. It could cost him a little bit of time, as it's a bit of a dodgy place to overtake, but he finally gets through. As we see, George Roke is in the pits as well, and Sontag is trying to unlap himself there. That's not wise to do, and that was incredibly close, and Sontag nearly he's going to be overtaken now. Gomez goes around the outside of the final corner and takes the position now. Look at that. Hutter's really right in the thick of it, but I don't know what Sontag was thinking there. Really not a good place to try and re-overtake him when he was going to the pits, and Gomez went around the outside of the final corner. You never really see that very often. And now, of course, unfortunately, Sontag, he had Chung right behind, and of course, Hutter's there as well, trying to lap these guys. And now Sontag trying to get back past Gomez into the first corner. He's going to go for it, and Gomez, I think, goes a little bit wide. Sontag, I think, he's going to get it back, and Hutter's going to eventually sneak his way through. Now, finally laps Sontag as well, and Chung's there, and so is the McLaren of Roberto Gamba. So a big battle at the end of the field. Chung trying to get on the inside of Gomez and fails, and great battle there. At the moment, Evan Byrne is in third position. I repeat, as we look at Gal coming out of the pits in 5th, and so he will be out. He'll be in clear air, I should say. Joel Hutter now finally does come into the pits for his first stop of the race. He was actually looking to improve his lap, actually. Well, I suppose finally, as he would have finally got rid of all that traffic he was involved in. Worst possible time, really, to get caught in it just before his stop. So into the pits he comes, and let's see the fuel they put into his car. And yep, that's definitely going to be a 2-stop for Hutter, that is for sure. That's quite a lot of fuel they put into the Swiss driver's car. So into the pits, and out he goes. So he's going to be doing a long stint on this set of tyres, so going to go for the short stint at the end. And he's going to come out, it looks like, behind Lean Campana, who I don't believe is actually pitted yet, so he'll have to overtake him on the circuit, but as Campana goes in, Tomaselli actually does go by as well, and Tomaselli is not pitting for quite a while yet either. Evan Byrne actually is now in 2nd position, so if Carr goes in before Byrne might actually lead a race, and he's not had he's not been this high up on the grid since 2011. 2011/2012. Been a long while, but he probably has deserved it, and actually no, he won't, because Carr is on a lot more fuel. So it looks like that Carr is going to be doing the 1-stop, which I don't really think is the way to go around here. I mean, I don't necessarily think a 3-stop is the way to go either, so I'd say probably, well, a 2 is the way to go. Now here is Roberto Gamba on the inside of Chung into the first corner alongside, and he's going to make it stick. There's almost contact, I think. Roberto Gamba has got it done, has he? Yes, just about. Chung finally has to concede the position, but obviously if these two keep battling, they'll have Evan Byrne for company to lap them soon. But Chung's going to try and get back on the inside, and it's not going to work, and there's nearly contact. Chung almost pushing Roberto Gamba through the corner there as they come onto the back trail. I wonder if Chung actually might still make a move. She's still in the slipstream. Is she going to go to the inside? Ooh, she thought about it. But Roberto Gamba said no. So now Evan Byrne is going to come up to these guys, and they'll have to hope that they let him through quickly, because I think he will be in a battle with Carr as well. They're definitely to get a good points finish, and Lean Campana actually is pitting this lap. So as we look at Byrne coming through the double left-hander, heading towards turn 7. Now he's right behind this battle. This is probably not the place he would have wanted to catch up to them, as now Chung trying to move on the inside of Roberto Gamba. Not going to make it stick. Byrne is there now, so he'll lap him coming onto the straight, or he'll do it actually even earlier. Although Byrne gets held up as he laps him through, as he laps Chung through the final corner. Not the place he would have wanted to do it, but hey ho, he's got it done. But of course Volker's actually not that far away from Byrne behind. Now here is Gomez, who is trying to get past the Williams of Sontag. Not going to work. Now here we're looking at Galvez in 4th, and here comes Lean Campana, the American, into the pits for his first stop of the race. So Campana's had a pretty solid race so far. So into the pits he does go. So it will be a 2-stop for him, of course. And he'll be going quite long on this stint as well, not as long as Hutter, but we'll see if this suits him or not. So, let's see, out of the pits he comes, and there we go. So where's he going to come out onto the circuit? He will come out just outside of the points, I think. Yep, he's going to come out in 12th. And now finally Evan Byrne does come into the pits. So let's see where he comes out on the circuit. It's really interesting actually, because he's gone fairly long. The longest out of, I guess, the 2 stoppers so far. Gomez is in the pits again. So let's see where Byrne comes out onto the circuit. Of course, he'll have less fuel to go on in this stint, so it should be quicker than the guys, or at least matching the guys around him. And well, actually, he goes the longest out of everyone. That's actually quite interesting. I thought he could maybe try and go a little bit shorter than them, but who knows. So he comes out of the pits, or he will do, when the crew lets him go. And he goes and goes now. So Byrne comes out, and he will come out. He'll be behind his teammate Mackenzie, and it looks like he'll come out in 8th position. Although speaking of Mackenzie, he's actually all over the back of Hutter. Is he going to go past Hutter coming through here? It's side by side, and he nearly does it, but just about. But unfortunately Hutter gets the position. So Franco Gamba, who I don't believe is pitted either, he's actually going quite far so far in this race. But Byrne did come out, I think it was in 8th position. And here we are looking at Amar Khan, who's currently leading this race. And he's actually up on the current lap he was doing, so the pace seemingly from Carr is pretty good. And here is Ennis Brashki locking up as he's trying to defend from Joseph Willis behind him. So as we come on to the back trail, I wonder if Willis will still make the move. I should expect to see a Ferrari on the right hand side coming towards turn 3, and yep, there it is. And Willis is through, just as I said. He's now up into 11th position, past the Macedonian driver. So now go after the car in front. Look at the gap he's already got away. Now Franco Gamba passing, or lapping I should say, the Force India there. I believe that is of now Tiernan, I think. So far only one retirement from this race, that being Franco Lopez. Of course, thanks to that puncture that he had. So at the moment it's looking pretty good for Volker out front. But let's not rule Carr out of the picture here, because I mean Carr's pace seemingly is not that bad. As the last time we saw on his lap, he was actually beating the time he was doing. I don't know if he did or not, but as Willows has already caught up to De Rossa and overtakes him into turn 1, he's up into 10th. So Willows on a mission to get points back here. Now here's Lean Campana, who is trying to get past Dennis Barachki, heading towards turn 2. He's not going to do it there, so he's going to have to wait another corner as Barachki, I think, is struggling on those tyres. So Byrne was an 8th, but crucially, of course, he's in clear air. So I wonder if he might actually close up to Hutter in front of him. Or I mean, he's on heavier fuel, but pressure tyres. But Mackenzie is coming in for another stop. Of course, he was doing well. Mackenzie was running in actually the position he was in, 6th position, but unfortunately suffered a mechanical problem. So that meant he had to come in. So he's now in for his first legit pit stop. So I would imagine he'll be doing obviously one more after this. So he comes in, change all 4 tyres, get himself prepared into first gear, and then he should be away.
Okay, no pressure.
So yep, a long stint. So it'll be quite short at the end. So absolutely go for it at the end of the race after his final stop. So as he goes and goes now. So where's he going to come out? So he's obviously behind Byrne. He's going to come out in, it looks like 10th position. Nope, 11th actually. De Rossa has just got past. So just outside of the points. But Mackenzie at the end, it'll be interesting to see how he does. He comes out just ahead of Ennis Barachki. Unfortunately, that's bad news for Lean Campana as well, with Mackenzie coming out there. As Barachki, he's going to try and get through past Mackenzie. He's not going to do it. And actually, Campana might take advantage here and go on the inside, but he can't quite do it. And didn't quite dive bomb it into the corner there, unfortunately. But here we're looking at Florian Volker right now running in second. The gap is coming down. I think it was down to less than 6 seconds. So, I mean, I think that would be pretty obvious. But so his car is only pitting once. So if Carr holds Volker behind here, I think he could actually possibly have a chance of winning this race. So Campana does actually get past. Whoa! Get past Ennis Barachki. Finally goes around the outside there. So good move there by the American. He finally gets past the Macedonian, whereas trying on the inside of Moitian into the penultimate corner. He's not going to make it stick there, and he's going to lose momentum coming off the final corner. I wonder actually, here's Franco Gamma coming out of the pits. I think he might come out ahead of Willows, so, and he will. I think probably Willows would have been ahead had he not had to battle with Moitin, but he is. Now into the pits comes Tomaselli. I would imagine he is just doing, still doing the 2-stop. I don't think he will be doing the 1. I think it would be pretty absurd to do it. And the answer is yep, he is not doing it,
Just prepare yourself for the
as
first
I
gear.
suspected.
First gear.
So out of the pits he will come. So there we go. And where would he come out? So he comes behind Gabby. He might actually come out ahead of Willers, who's actually under pressure from De Rossa here for 9th. And gracious, I think Tomaselli's come out ahead of these guys as well. And De Rossa can't quite make a stick, but now Mackenzie's there as well, so De Rossa going to be under pressure from Mackenzie. Actually, there is Tomaselli who's come out just behind Moitin there, but he'll get past him, I would imagine, pretty quickly. De Rossa trying it on Willows, and Willows actually defending as they head towards turn 2. Now coming on to the second straight. So that was, well, I suppose the start for a straight, you count as the first. So technically it's the third straight, I guess. I mean, this is the isn't straight. So as we look at Volker and P2, what's the gap actually? So I'm interested to see, it's 31. He's up on this in the first sector at the moment by 11 thousandths. It's just under 5 seconds. I did think that Volker would be closing up actually a lot more than he would. I thought he'd be probably on Carr's tail by now, but there you go. Now here's Willows passing Tomaselli, who's just come out of the pit. He's not quite got his tyres up to temperature, although Willows is on a mission. So as he makes the move stick, coming through the penultimate corner there. Now Mackenzie is trying to get past De Rossa for 10th place into the first corner. And De Rossa moves over on him, and Mackenzie doesn't make the move stick. Now Willows, look at that, he's already onto the back of Roland Moitin in front of him, and he's going to go on the inside. It looks like, oh, there's nearly contact. Willows on the inside, he actually has to almost brake to a standstill there to not go into Moitin's car. That'll allow Tomaselli to catch back up, and oh, there's a collision behind, oh, and there's a major crash. And Mackenzie has got away with it, so De Rossa is out. I thought Mackenzie was out as well, but De Rossa is out, and he's stranded in a really dodgy position there, right in the middle of the circuit, almost on the racing line. Just enough room for the cars to go by. But Mackenzie was involved. Roke went into him as well. Roke got damage. I don't actually know if Mackenzie got damage or not. I thought he was actually out at the time. But we're going to find out. So here we go. So Mackenzie was all over the back of De Rossa. Campana was there as well. And so he tried to make it on the inside, Mackenzie, and then Campana was around the outside, and then Mackenzie, just made contact, and actually does have wing damage, Mackenzie, and then unfortunately Roke, who was behind, had nowhere to go, so Campana was the big winner out of all that. He got away without any damage at all, but we're looking at Mackenzie to come into the hairpin. It was never really going to work. He should have backed out of it when he had the chance, Mackenzie, and unfortunately for Roke behind, who's already been caught up on the first lap, unfortunately he has suffered yet again. Another issue out of his control, which is not his fault. And unfortunately, it's another McLaren as well. He would have hated the orange papaya colours of that car. And oh my word! And that oh no, that thing's right on the racing line. And Chung has got damage. And oh my word! And Chung's race goes from bad to worse. That car is literally directly on the and now Tiernan has unfortunately been eliminated. Hutter's just got through without getting any damage. The car was pushed onto the racing line, and unfortunately, the marshal will be getting a sacking for that. And there's debris there, and I thought Byrne would run right over that there, and fortunately he didn't. So now here's Willows, who's going to try and get past Moitin, but of course don't forget there's a yellow flag there, so don't overtake. Now Tiernan of course is out. Chung is going to pits for damage, so I mean her chance, well, if she did have any chance at all of getting any points, it is not going to happen. But yeah, as we and Parechki gets overtaken by Titkov. Coming into turn 7 there, so unfortunately Parechki is not turning out to be a great race, and Carr is pitting this lap. I thought for a second they needed a problem, but Carr is now pitting. Actually Volker was still actually not on the back of his tail. He was closing up, but I honestly thought Volker would be closing up a lot quicker than he did. Of course, crucially for Carr, this is the interesting bit. Volker has to pit. I think Volker has to pit twice more. Well, if he doesn't pit, if he just does the 2-stop, then he's got a chance. I mean, if he does the 3, which I have a feeling he might do, I don't know, but Carr is going to be going to the end, so I wonder, Amar Carr is going to be, I would say, in contention for the race win here. So this is going to be very, very interesting indeed. So as you look at him coming through the double left-hander, so heading towards the pits, coming through the second left-hander, we're going to go out to 6th gear, then up to 7th, then all the way up into 8th. Now he's going to slow down for the pit entry. It's definitely one of the most unique pit entries. It's just the worst possible time. I don't really know how you can improve that, really, because I mean, yeah, it's just a very interesting pit entry, really. So now Carr does come into the pits for his first stop of the race. So he's going to go to the end, because if he doesn't, then, well, it'd be a really naive strategy from Ferrari. The fuel was actually pretty close, so they were doing it pretty fine. And yep, he goes in, and actually, speaking of coming in, is Nicolas Gall as well for Red Bull, and I wonder if he goes to the end or not. If he does go to the end, then he and Carr could have a battle for the win, possibly. So Carr comes out of the pits, but will Gall go to the end? Gall actually has to wait, and no, he doesn't. So Gall doesn't go to the end. So I wonder if Ferrari have actually pulled a bit of a masterstroke here. That could be very interesting indeed to see what happens at the end. Of course, Volker, I don't know how much more fuel he had, but he wasn't he wasn't closing up as much as I thought he would on Carr. So Carr's pace, I think, was actually pretty good. So Gall comes in third and does crucially come out ahead of his teammate Hutter. But the question is, of course, is Gall going to be quicker than Amar Carr? Because if he is, then that could help Volker. But I'm just interested to see. I must see when Volker is going. I mean, if Volker pits now and goes to the end, he would probably just about come out ahead. I think. Well, it would certainly be on the edge. That's for sure. But I don't know. This is really fascinating. I'm so happy that finally I get to commentate this. And Volker actually is pitting in probably about 2 laps. So actually, this could be pretty close. I mean, if Mercedes don't put him to the end now, then that pretty much will eliminate any chance, I think, of victory. And of course, that depends actually if Carr's in any traffic or not. Volker at the moment has got free air. The gap is actually going up slightly. It's actually 26.8. So the moment is working in his favour because he's got clear air. He's got no traffic around him at all. And I don't know if Carr has. And yes, Carr has. Gall, I think, is still pretty close to him there. So, I mean, I think Volker really needs to hope that Gall does him a favour. Tomaselli at the moment is in 4th position. Actually, Tomaselli, I think, might actually be on for possibly the podium here. Because I'm pretty sure Tomaselli is going to be pitting in a few laps' time. So he is on with a shout of a top 5, I believe. I think that is. Why did it say Thomas? No, Tomaselli's not there. Why did it say Tomaselli? He must have just pitted. I don't know. I must have read something wrong there. But anyway, Nicolas Gall at the moment is still hanging on the back of Carr. He's got less fuel than him, so I think he is quicker. But of course, Carr will need to hold him off. He will need to do it. I mean, he'll know that Gall is on a different strategy than him, but he'll need to hold him off. The gap is now less than a second. The gap is it's going up. It's 27.4. So at this moment in time, Volker would come out ahead of him. So, and of course, as I said, Carr has got this traffic. So at the moment, things are working out, I'd say, in Volker's favour. As we look at Huss coming through the first corner there. I mean, Gall is closing on him as well. And I don't think Carr's really closing up to the traffic. But at this moment in time, Volker is surely going to jump in front of him. And I think he's coming. And I think that was a pit call, I'm pretty sure, for him to go in. And yes, here we go. So the gap is actually now 28 seconds. So, but the Mercedes crew crucially need a very good pit stop here. Because, of course, if he does come up behind Gall and Carr, then he'll have to get past Gall as well. So here we go. This is going to be very interesting indeed to see what happens here. So Volker comes in for his, well, I would think his final stop of the race. If he doesn't, then unfortunately Mercedes are pretty stupid. So here we go. Surely he's got to go to the end. Surely. No, he doesn't. He doesn't go to the end. I really thought he would, because if he came out in front, he would be leading this race. I mean, he will anyway. Oh, okay. Right. So, let's see. I think he will come out just about ahead. It's going to be very close. No, he is going to come out comfortably ahead, actually. Wow, it's actually a lot bigger than I expected. Gall and Carr must be battling, I would think. But as we're looking, and yes, look at this big gaggle of cars here, and actually, oh, and Gall now passes Carr. Okay, so Gall has now passed Carr for second position, but Carr, I suppose, doesn't need to worry about that. He just needs to preserve these tyres. So I suppose, in a way, he'll probably be happy that Gall's passed him, so at least he hasn't held him up too much. So Gall's through and moves up another position. So as we now look at George Roque, who's trying to go past the Force India over at Moyton. He does make it through around the outside as well. So he moves up another position into 13th. He's now got Jay McKenzie just ahead of him. McKenzie, I don't know what happened to him, but he just seemingly had no pace this race at the moment. Evan Byrne running a very impressive 5th as well. Let's not forget how well he's done this race. He's been on his own, actually, I have to say. But still, he's kept out of trouble, and that's pretty much why he's there. Frankie Gamma at the moment in 6th. Campana now up to 7th. Tomaselli in 8th. So out of the pits comes Joseph Willows. And so looking at Enis Barachki at the moment in 10th, getting 1 point. As now Gal goes past the Force India there of Moinchin, and now Carr is going to lap him as well, coming through into the penultimate corner, which he does, and doesn't hold him up too much. He's just hanging on the back of Gal, which is what he needs to do at this moment in time. But as I said, this is going to be interesting to see what happens with Volker and Carr at the end. So Rokachi is going past another car, so he's already got past Moinchin, now goes past Mackenzie into the first corner, so he's up into 11th. So I don't know what's happened to Mackenzie. He was looking like he was going to recover and get some points, but unfortunately, well, of course, actually, I forget, of course, he was involved in that collision with Roberto Gamma, but still, it's just not gone his way. Enis Parachki comes in for possibly his final stop, and Mackenzie, well, there we go, gets a penalty for that incident with De Rossa, so that is going to pretty much eliminate any chance that he has of getting points from this race. So as we look at the Macedonian driver of Parachki coming in for his, and it will be his final stop. So as we look at him changing all 4 tyres, and gets it ready, and car gets it down, and he's away. So he's going to be down the order in 50, but he's obviously going to the end, needs to avoid trouble. He could maybe get himself some points, possibly. He's going to come out, it looks like, ahead of Felix Sontag. He's going to come out in clear air. So there's Carr, who has fallen off a fair bit off of Gal, but at this moment in time he doesn't necessarily need to worry about that. So he is surely going to come out as Parachki's off! Parachki goes wide, doesn't spin it, but he's struggling on those new tyres. But as I said, it's going to be interesting to see. He was actually up on his lap as well. So I think Carr will still come out, Volker will come up behind Carr, but he's going to be much quicker than him at the end. So I don't really think that Carr will necessarily be able to defend, but if he does, it will be a fantastic victory for him. As we're looking at Frank Gamma coming through first corner, he's now coming out to this lap traffic in front of him. Now here's Willers trying to recover positions. He's now trying to get past the Sauber of Tomaselli into the first corner, and he's up into 8th position. And so there we go, he is through. So there we are, look at Lean Campana. I said, so far having a very solid race in just inside the points. Kept himself to himself, and so he's looking on to get some scraps out of this race. So I'm interested to see what the gap is between cars. The Car and Gal, what's the gap between them now? About 3.2 seconds. So the gap is, look at the gap here, so Gal is 10 seconds away. It's about 13 seconds, so as long as Car doesn't lose too much time, then he'll still come up behind. Volker will come up behind Car, but unfortunately I don't really think Car's going to be able to defend, but we'll see. Now here is Willers, who's passing Lean Campana and makes a very easy move of it. As we're looking at Amar Khan, once again, he's now dropping 6 seconds, so he is dropping off the pace. Volker is coming into the pits pretty soon, so, and of course Gal will be a bit later on, so I wonder if Gal could still possibly be in contention for the win. But okay, here we go. Volker is now in with 20 laps to go of this race, so he's going to come up behind Carl, but the crucial thing is, well, I'm interested to see obviously what happens with Gal as well. I don't know if Gal's necessarily going to be in contention, but we'll see. It looks like Gal probably could still get himself a podium at this race, which he could be very happy with, considering how his luck has gone this season. So Volker now comes out of his pit box, comes out behind Gal, who's now the race leader. Carr will take second position, which will be first once Gal goes in. But it looks set to be a battle between the Mercedes and Ferrari for the victory today. So as we look at Carr in second, there's Volker coming out in third. And he's going to come out ahead of Hutter because he came across the line. And yes, he is. That's a Renault that's just gone past. There's Carr. He's not that far away, to be honest, Volker. So I think he'll catch him pretty quickly. So this is going to be an interesting battle towards the end of the race to see who wins this race. And actually, speak of the devil, Gal is actually coming in this lap. I thought he was going actually a couple of laps longer, but I guess not. As Gomez and, a little bit of contact there as Campana was trying to go in. That will affect him a little bit. Nearly a collision there. We actually haven't had any collisions at the final crawl. We've had a couple of spins, but no collisions themselves, actually. So there we go. And so as we look at Franco Gamba, who's coming into pits for his final stop of the race.
Okay, no pressure.
Also going to the end.
Just prepare yourself for the first
gear. Let's see where the Haas driver comes out. The Italian had a very impressive season so far. Outperformed Roque by far. Who, I mean, I wouldn't say more vast experienced teammate, but Gamma, who's had, obviously, as we know, terrible luck over the past seasons in the OC, but this season seems to be the one where everything is going his way. So we now look at Miguel Gal coming in for his final stop of the race.
Just prepare
So
yourself
he
for
will
the first
obviously
gear.
relinquish the lead to
First
Carr.
gear.
Volker will take second, and Gal, I don't know if he'll be in contention for the win. I think he's a bit far away. Hutter actually takes third position. But it could be interesting to see, actually. I think Hutter still has to pit before the end, so I think Gal will take a comfortable third. Byrne actually just come across the line, so it actually was pretty close between him and Byrne, but Gal, I think, will keep fourth position as he comes out of the pits, and it'll be in clear air as well, so Gal can really go for it for the end, as there's Titkoff, who's trying to unlap himself past Gal, but he's not going to do that. So the gap actually is only 5.5 seconds, Volker to Carr now, so that battle is going to be on pretty soon, I would imagine, as Carr has actually got Lean Campana in front of him, but Lean Campana, I think, is just pitted, so I don't think he'll be much of a threat to Omar Carr, as long as he keeps the pace up, really. So as I said, I'm just fascinated to see who's going to win today, and there out of the pits actually comes Joseph Willows, who ideally probably should have been in the battle for the win today, but unfortunately it's not happened for him today, of his own making really. It could have been so much different for him, as we look at Willows coming out of the pits. Does come out ahead of Franco Gamba, so at the moment the gap Volker wise still about, I think, just less than 5 seconds. Now here's Reda Moitian, who is coming around the final corner, makes a little mistake there, goes wide, fortunately keeps it on the circuit. Joel Hutter's in, and so is Etienne Jones for their final stops of the race. So there we go, as we watch them come in, and Etienne Jones goes to pretty much the last pit box in the pit lane, as Hutter comes out in P5. So at the moment actually Evan Byrne's in P4. I don't know if Byrne actually has to pit before the end or not. I'm pretty sure he's going fairly late, Byrne, I believe, if my calculations were correct from before. Here's Enes Parachki in 15th, as Jones does come out ahead of him. There's Thomas Ellie in 6th, there's Chung, unfortunately stoned dead last. So I mean, Carr's still closing up to the back of him, and I was right, Byrne did have to make one more stop. So into the pits he comes, as Joseph Williams actually has passed Tomaselli, so he's now up into 6th position. So now Volker has got to lap Tomaselli in the, I think, well, he's got a lap of Carr in front of him, I should say. As we look coming through, Carr, he's got a car in front of him. Don't know what one that. He's got the Haas there, I believe that is of Franco Gamba. Volker has got the Williams to lap in front of him. So I believe that is Lean Campana, I think he's got a lap. In 9th position, Tomaselli does come in for his final stop. So, as I said, Carr's going to lap the Haas of Franco Gamba. So Volker now passes the Williams into the first corner. So now he's going after Carr, and obviously Carr unfortunately has got this lap traffic, although Gomez actually is pitting this lap, so that'll be one less car for him to deal with. He'll have to deal with Chung and Titkoff, possibly, well, I mean, unless he catches up to them, and if he gets past Franco Gamba or not. But we've got 10 laps to go here, so what is going to happen? Will Volker catch Carr before the end and take the win from this Grand Prix? Is going to be the big question, the $1 million question. So as you look at Carr, he's still just about closing up to the back of Gamba, but he's not quite close enough to lap him, it seems, at this moment in time. So the gap is still coming down. It's about 2.2 seconds, and oh, what's happened? Oh, and something has happened. Chung has been involved again, and Gomez is coming to the pits as well. I think Chung had damage, and yet it's been probably the worst, one of Laura Chung's worst races of her career. And it was, this time, it was a collision coming into the pits yet again. There was damage done. So that's unfortunate there for Chung, but as I said, it's just been probably the worst race of her career. And look at that, Titkoff just squeezing through there, managing to gain 2 positions. Now here we are looking at Florian Volker, who is now lapping the Haas of Franco Gamba, heading towards turn 2. He's through, and now he's got a clear sight of that red car in front of him. Gal is way back, so he's not going to be in contention, but he's in a very, very comfortable 3rd position. So it's been a good performance by Gal, I have to say. But and Evan Byrne as well, let's remember to give him a shout out. Very good performance in 5th position. Now here we are. Now Volker is closing up to the back, and Carr has just lapped the McLaren of, I believe, is that Roberto Gamba, I think? And yes, it is, and Volker does make it through. He gets held up a little bit coming through the final corner there. He's going to lose actually a bit of momentum to Carr in front of him. It's now up to 1.9 seconds. And oh, hang on a second. Roberto Gamba's going to try and unlap himself here. But he fails to do so. And I was gonna say that would have been yeah, Volker would have been fuming there, but I think Volker will be still angry nonetheless, because Roberto Gamba held him up quite a bit coming into the final corner there. He's lost a lot of time actually to Carr. Look at the gap that went up there. As here we are now on the final lap, and there is Volker just in the background. So that hold up by Roberto Gamba may have just helped Carr to the win here, as we're on the final lap, 71st lap of this race. And Carr, I really didn't think the one stop would work. I was doubting it from pretty much the start, really, but he has made it work. And Volker, I mean, had he done the two-stop, he probably would have come out. He probably would have won this race, I would have said. But he came very close. But it looks like Carr is going to hold off Florian Volker and take victory here at the Red Bull Ring. And it could have been a different Ferrari that was winning this race. I mean, it could have been a Ferrari 1-2 had Willows not made his mistake at the beginning. But they're coming around to the final couple of corners. The gap coming down rapidly. Volker to Carr, less than a second, only 6/10. They come through the final two corners. Amar leading Florian Volker coming around the final corner. And Amar comes through and is going to win the Austrian Grand Prix here at the Red Bull Ring. He just holds off Volker. The gap only 0.4 of a second at the end. And Volker will be fuming with Roberto Gamba for costing him what could have been the win of this race. Roberto Gamba is going to come across the line and just holds off Campana for 7th. Gal will take 3rd. I believe that's also Campana's first points of the season too. Tomaselli in 9th. He'll be happy with some points. I think it could have been a little bit more though, but he'll take that anyway. Sontag way down 17th. Gomez in 18th. And across the line there's Chung 19th and last. Roke actually does get 10th in the end, despite getting caught up in the two collisions. Hutter in 4th. Mackenzie was 11th in the end. What could have been for him as well. Evan Byrne, great performance by him for Renault. He will take a top 5. A very good result and a very deserved result. And Joseph Willis will recover and get 6th place. I guess that's not too bad, but well, it could have been 25 points. But yeah, there we go. Roland Moichin coming across the line 12th. Etienne Jones 13th. He was running actually up in the points early on, so he faded away a little bit at the end. But is what it is, I guess. So Jones now comes across the line. And there we go. Race is over. So we'll now take a look at the results and constructor standings. So Amar Carr winning the race ahead of Florian Volker in 2nd, Miklas Gau in 3rd, Joel Hutter 4th, Evan Byrne 5th, Joseph Willows in 6th, Franco Gamba 7th, Dean Capana 8th, Paulino Tomasini 9th, and George Roke complete the points in 10th. Mackenzie actually, had he been ahead of Roke anyway, would have lost the point due to his 22nd time penalty, but he stays 11th. As we look through the rest of the order, Roland 12th, Edwin Jones 13th, then Parachki, Roberto Gamba, Titkov, Sontag, Gomez and Chung finishing the race. Joseph Willis was the one who actually also set the fastest lap of the race, a 1:04.736. So again, the lap record, new lap record here at the Red Bull Ring this season. Now take a look at the driver's standings. So Amar Carr winning, extending his lead. It is now 25 points, a win ahead of Franco Lopez in 2nd. Florian Volker just 12 points behind in 3rd. Joseph was in 4th. Hutter 5th. Gal closing up to Hutter in 6th. Franco Gamba 7th. Roke in 8th. Motor 9th. Evan Byrne moving up to 10th. And Paulino Tomaselli also moving up to 11th position as well, thanks to their points hauls. And De Rosa, Chung, Tiernan and Mackenzie all losing places. Sontag, Gamba, Gabriel Gomez, Alin Kapana moving up to 19th ahead of Enes Barachki, Etienne Jones 21st, and Maxim Titkov, who is now the only driver this season yet to score any points. So now we'll take a look at the constructor standings here at the Red Bull Ring. And Ferrari now move ahead of Mercedes by just 8 points, so that is very close there in the battle to be the top dog. Red Bull way behind in 3rd. Haas, amazingly, look how far they are ahead of Force India in 4th position, and Force India 5th, Renault moving up to 6th, McLaren 7th, Sauber 8th, Toro Rosso 9th, Williams 10th, and Mana in 11th. So there we go, that was the Austrian Grand Prix highlights, and they were a bit late, but they were due to unforeseen circumstances. Hope you guys enjoyed the race. The ratings have already been done, so we'll see you for the next round, the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. So we'll see you there. Thanks for watching.